Welcome to my 5 to 8 minute instruction video on action, writing action. Now, a lot of people think that action scenes only exist in action books or thrillers or, adventure books and stuff like that. But actually, the truth is that action scenes are any scene where that's moving kind of fast, that maybe the pace needs to be a little faster. You can have romance books that have action scenes in them. So action scenes can happen anywhere, and some people are a little, intimidated by them, but you don't need to be intimidated by them. And so in order to help writers not be too intimidated by them, and to see the magic of revising to make sure that your action scenes are effective and are doing what you want them to do, I created a presentation years and years ago called The Anatomy of Action. I believe that action scenes have three major kind of aspects to them, or features, and I named them the skeleton and the organs and the skin. I'm waiting for you to protest that the skin is an organ. And done. Okay, I know the skin's an organ, but stick with me, will you? So today we're going to talk about the skeleton, how part of the action scene is going to be the bones of it. And by bones, I mean like the lead up and the context of it, the time and the place of it, the choreography, the urgency, what it is that's making that scene urgent. If it's say it's a lady who's decided that she does want to be with this man who she had thought for a minute she needed to leave because of this other thing. The urgency is she needs to catch this guy before he gets on his tractor and drives over the horizon, whatever. So she's got to hurry. So you have all kinds of urgency, and the bones of your action scene, I believe, are where you can get that urgency going. And then the overall, of course, structure, since this is a skeleton. So there are many things that we can do to think about how to make that structure well. So let me start with the lead up and the context. If you haven't helped your reader understand why this scene matters to the characters and their objectives, to the antagonists, including the antagonists, of course, and their objectives, to the overall story and the overall, denouement of the story. And if you haven't helped them understand, again, why it matters and why we should care about it, then that's an opportunity to go back. Our readers need to understand why we should care about that. And so by the time you get to an action scene, unless you're starting your book in an action scene, by the time we get to the action scene, we need to care about why that action scene matters. If you're starting your book with an action scene, there are things we can do inside of that action scene that will actually help your reader instantly care about the character. But that's not for today. These things will help the bones, essentially, of the action scene will help your scene be more understandable and more effective. So the context and the lead up, also the time and the place. Nothing is, well, that's excessive. I'm gonna exaggerate. Okay, nothing is more disruptive to a story experience for a reader than for them to suddenly have to be like, wait, where is this happening? And have to go back and reread. Oh, is this in the clearing of a forest? Oh, no wonder there are no more trees. And if that wasn't made clear, the time and the place in this case, that's a problem. And the time is also important because, it can evoke things for you. If it's late, if it's twilight, if it's the morning, it's important for people to just get a solid sense of time and place. It doesn't take long to say, the twilight shadows made it hard to see my enemy's shadow blade or hex blade or whatever the frick it is, whatever. So you can absolutely use sensory words very quickly to give the time and the place, and you don't have to have it perfect at the beginning. Just signal the time and the place. Make sure as you're writing you have the time and the place, and as you go back and revise, you make sure it's clear. And then the choreography and the urgency. So urgency, we sort of talked about that, why it matters, and why it has to happen in a rather maybe shortened period of time, okay? The choreography is really critical, and you can figure out what that is, right? Choreography is the planning of the movement, right? So if I were you, if you have a pretty complex action scene that is maybe even fighting or something else, but it's complex and there's some moving pieces, draw it. Make sure you know the location of the thing, where your main character, your other characters are starting, and where they're going to end up. And if you're revising your action scenes and you just want to make sure for sure that your readers get it, because we writers, we make leaps all the time, go back and draw the thing. Truly, it feels like it might be an extra exercise, but don't you want to produce your best work? Don't you want your readers to be breathless and not taken out of the story because of like, wait, wasn't Johnny over here before? No, why are they over there? So, and also make sure you keep track of any weapons, any objects that are being used, any props that are involved in the thing. And then the overall structure. So the overall structure is kind of a rise and a fall. So you don't want to go high action and then a fall and then a drip, 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 and then high action. You want to try to build, and then you can come down a bit for a breather. But your action scene should be short enough that you can build and stay there and culminate in something really awesome. But then don't end the scene on, well, you don't end the chapter or the scene plus the kind of denouement of the scene at the climax of the action. End the scene right after the action's climaxed and your characters had the opportunity to react, to have an emotional reaction there. Because when you give your reader an emotional reaction from your character, that helps your reader stay connected to what just happened and what's coming next, be it a twist of some kind or other. So I want to take a quick look that you're going to see in the video here. If you want, you can pause and blow it up, or you can do it yourself. But I've got up here in the video a passage from Gregor and the Marks of Secret by Suzanne Collins. It's from Suzanne Collins, Hunger Games lady, she also wrote the Underland Chronicles, and they're really good, actually, like super, super duper good. Take a look at this scene and see, can you see the bones? Can you see the time and the place? Can you see the choreography? There's a moment or two in here, I think, that the choreography is not as clear as it should be. Like when there's a rock all of a sudden. Maybe we should have had a reference to the rock. So the rock is where Gregor spins, right? So read the excerpt. If you want, you can pause it. Okay, so the rock kind of comes out of nowhere. It's not entirely as clear as it could be, and that's okay. Another thing about the structure of this is like the length of the paragraphs. I really do recommend shorter paragraphs, maybe varying your sentence length some and making sure that your spaces between sentences add emphasis, but don't overdo it. Don't try to write necessarily cinematically, but watching movies can help because they do signal the time and the place very well and what's going on. Thanks for tuning into this video. I hope you learned some stuff about action, and remember, never fear revising. Revising is where true magic happens. Remember, writing the first draft is you figuring out what the story is. Writing the second and other subsequent drafts is making sure the reader understands the story. Thanks for tuning in. We'll do another one of these videos real soon.